So, the title has been returned. The ink is dry on the parchment. Prince Andrew of York is now simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. For many, that might feel like an ending, a full stop. But what if I told you that for the House of Windsor, this isn't an ending at all? What if this is not a loss, but the most surprising of opportunities? To understand that, we must take a walk through the long gallery of history and listen to the whispers of the ghosts who have been in this very position before. Our first ghost is the most notorious, King Edward VIII, a man who had it all, the crown, the adoration, the destiny, and who gave it up for love. When he became the Duke of Windsor, he was cast into a royal wilderness, an exile of endless golf, empty days, and bitter irrelevance. For decades, the lesson of Edward has been the ultimate Windsor cautionary tale. Step out of line, and you become a ghost. But was Edward's fate sealed the moment he abdicated? Or was it sealed by the fact that he was given no second act? No chance to serve, to contribute, to be anything other than the former king? This is the first crucial question we must hold in our minds. Now, let us turn to a very different ghost, a living, breathing example of how to forge a destiny within the firm, even when the direct line of succession stretches far into the distance. I am talking, of course, about Princess Anne, the Princess Royal. She was the daughter of the monarch, the only daughter for so long. And yet she watched her younger brothers take their places ahead of her in the line of succession. She could have retreated. She could have become a footnote. But did she? Goodness, no. She looked at the rule book and she decided to write her own chapter. She became the hardest working royal, the one with the no-nonsense attitude, the sharp wit, and a work ethic that would make a Victorian industrialist blush. She didn't just accept her role, she redefined it. She used her position not for privilege, but for profound, grinding, day-in, day-out service. She found her purpose not in her proximity to the throne, but in the sheer power of her own endeavor. And that, you see, is the key that unlocks a very different door for Andrew. Edward VIII's story is one of subtraction, of everything taken away. But Princess Anne's story is one of addition, of building something so formidable, so respected, that your title becomes almost secondary to your achievements. So the blueprint exists. The path of dignified, relentless service is a well-trodden one within the very walls of Buckingham Palace. But can a man who has known only the life of His Royal Highness since the cradle, a man at the center of a global storm, possibly find the humility to pick up that blueprint and follow it? This leads us to the most surprising ghost of all, the ghost of Andrew's own past. Before the scandal, before the headlines, before the fall from grace. Let us not forget, this was a man who served his country with distinction in the Falklands War. A man who, as a young naval officer, commanded a warship and was praised for his courage and competence. That Andrew Mountbatten Windsor existed. He was more than just a prince. He was a leader, a patriot, a man of action. What if that man is not entirely lost? What if he is merely buried under the weight of decades of privilege and later disgrace? The return of the title and the military affiliations was not just a stripping away. It was, in its own brutal modern way, a moment of liberation. It was the firm saying, the character you played is no longer on the stage. The uniform you wore no longer fits. But that doesn't mean the actor has no role to play. The challenge, the monumental, inspirational challenge now facing Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, is to stop being the ghost of a prince and start becoming the man he was perhaps always meant to be. To look not to the exiled Duke of Windsor for his future, but to the relentless serving Princess Royal for his inspiration. And to dig deep and find that long-lost ghost of the capable naval officer within himself. He has been given the one thing a royal almost never gets, a clean slate. A chance to build a legacy not on a title bestowed by birth, but on character earned by action. The palace door has closed behind him, but before him, lies in entirely new and utterly predictable country. And the question that will haunt the corridors of power for months and years to come is this: